As soon as I saw it, I was like, yes, this is it. Everybody's going to want one of these.
Yeah.
And I was out of town. I was traveling for the law job. And I called my dad and I said, Dad, I've got this great idea and let me find land and I think it's going to work. And he said, you always have a crazy idea, but this one sounds like it might actually work.
That's right.
And so we set about almost proving why it wouldn't work.
Welcome to another episode of the Hot Rod Pod, where it all began. I'm John McGann from Hot Rod Magazine, here with special guest Alex Taylor and Nick Deutsch, who is the owner and proprietor of this really cool space that we are in right now, Garage Ultimate. I'm really excited to talk to you today. This is something that I've been personally interested in for a long time, trying to do an article in Hot Rod on like car condos and places like this. So do you want to describe where we are right now?
So yes, we are, as you said, at Garage Ultimate.
Yeah.
It's heaven for car lovers. It's so we've got a big building that we subdivide into these individual spaces that we sell, and the owners can outfit them however they want. It's mostly car people, and so they put mezzanines and lifts and lots of cars.
That's cool.
You are an attorney by day, is that correct?
That is true.
Okay,
That is true.
What kind of law do you do? Just like to get that out of the way right now.
I do litigation.
Oh, like trial lawyer, like your objection, Your Honor, that kind of stuff.
Objection, Your Honor. That's right.
Okay.
You can object as non-responsive if I'm not answering right.
Okay, is this like criminal stuff or
Not
is it-
criminal.
Oh,
not
okay.
criminal. On the civil side.
Okay.
On the
All right.
civil side.
Well, first of all, what city are we in? Right, we're outside of Houston, but what is this?
We're outside of Houston in Friendswood
Okay, Friendswood. And how long has this place been open?
since 2020, January of 2020. We opened.
Okay, and what do you call? I mean, I've seen all kinds of barn dominiums, car condos. What do you call what this is right here?
We call it garage condos.
Okay.
It's a
Okay.
garage
Garage
condo.
Yeah.
So something you said just a minute ago that I had not thought of yet, was you said most people are car people that have spaces here, but I take it that not everybody
Yeah, that's interesting.
is a car person?
There's often a car angle.
Okay.
Some people will also have boats, or it'll be the one in entertaining space, but they tend to also have at least a car, if
I
not
see.
some cars.
Okay. I didn't even think that. When I pull up, I'm like immediately like, oh, there's a lot of cars here. I didn't think of anything else, but
Cars tie us together,
gotcha.
but people have other uses as well.
that's cool.
So I've seen these things showing up around the country. Now, this was your idea, and what inspired you to do that? And then, like, basically, what was the process? How did you get started? Because you had to buy land, you get permits, like all that stuff, right?
All of that,
Yeah.
all of that, and I mean it's an interesting story. I got the idea because I ran out of space at home, garage space, and I was like,
That's a
That's
common,
what it is. Yeah.
common problem.
yeah. So we had I was kind of settling into my career, and we had at least I think 2 kids, and so as I was finally getting to a point where I could go and get some cars and some toys, I had no space, and I was like, well. I also, we've got now, 18 bikes in our garage and power wheels and all of this. And even if I could fit a car in one corner, that doesn't seem very safe. So what am I going to do? That coincided with looking for real estate investment opportunities. We had done some house flips. We had done some rental houses, but we really wanted to scale. And so I was generally looking at storage concepts and came across just the idea of garage condos. And as soon as I saw it, I was like, yes, this is it. Everybody's going to want one of these.
Yeah.
And I was out of town. I was traveling for the law job, and I called my dad and I said, Dad, I've got this great idea, and let me find land, and I think it's going to work. And he said, you always have a crazy idea, but this one sounds like it might actually work. And so we set about almost proving why it wouldn't work. Like I just started running with it. I said, well, let me find land, and then I'll start to model it and make sure the financials work, and we'll go and kind of test market. And And I'm sure I'll find a reason that it won't work, and then I'll just abandon it. But I'll have learned something. And I sometimes I joke. I say, and here we are. I've got 80,000 square feet of garages. I never found a reason it won't work.
That's cool.
This episode of the Hot Rod Podcast is brought to you by Pennzoil. Earlier this week, we had a chance to tour their technical center here in Houston. So here's a behind-the-scenes look. The Hot Rod Pod is presented by Pennzoil, where they say, long may we drive, because preserving the thrill and joy of driving matters. And as someone who spends their life around cars, working on them, photographing them, writing about them, driving them, I'm glad to have them as a sponsor. For people who are truly connected to their vehicles, engine protection isn't just maintenance, it's how you keep doing what you love year after year. Pennzoil, engine protection for the lifetime of your vehicle. That sounds like a great idea on paper, sort of lofty goals, and then once you get involved in all the particulars to make this happen, I could see where a lot, depending on where you are and the kind of restrictions you're up against, that a lot of plans just crash and burn at some point. But how big is this space? I mean, we're on a fair amount of land right now, and you're expanding.
So we've got 10 acres of land.
Yeah.
We've got 80,000 square feet built so far. Another 21,000 under construction, and another 36,000 planned here.
Yeah.
And then we're also expanding into an entirely new development. So lots of expansion.
So obviously the market's there.
The market is
there. So
the market is there.
Who are obviously the customers who need storage space for their cars, but is there like a common denominator? Like we met somebody who was a tugboat fleet company,
His
like
dad, he priorly owned it.
Yeah. So like, what's your clientele?
So it's a lot of business owners.
Yeah.
It started with more people that were either nearing retirement age or retired and wanted a place to go to still get to play. They've obviously got to have the means to afford an off-site garage.
Yeah.
And then the cars that go inside of it.
Yeah.
The community aspect of it is a diverse group of people that would have never otherwise gotten together from all kinds of different fields, all different walks of life. And really, that's what makes it great. They come here primarily because they have a passion for cars, and then they get to know one another and they become friends.
Yeah, Ethan, the guy in your office, was telling us that it's the community aspect that really didn't think about, but it does kind of make sense. You go into car shows and Cars and Coffee. You kind of built a Cars and Coffee that people can come to anytime, right?
That's right.
Okay.
Yeah.
I like it.
All right, so I have a question. You're talking about enthusiasts and all of them coming around and car culture. I have seen some of these other facilities in, say, Michigan and Florida that have a track at the center of it, or something like that. Yours is unique in the sense that it's garage space. Have you considered doing like your new one that you're talking about? Is it going to have different elements to it, or is it going to stay mainly just garage?
That's interesting. Around a track is awesome. Most people here would love to have a track. We just don't happen to have a track here. But as we continue to expand, one of the things that I've learned is probably to go either bigger or smaller.
Okay.
So bigger in the sense that we've really created this community of people that now can support other businesses, retail, rental spaces. And so I think there's an opportunity for that outside of the facility, but still connected, or to take it down into 2 or 3 acre sites and go in town, higher priced dirt. Part of the reason that we're here is because we could afford the land, and we were kind of pioneers. We didn't know what the total market was, what the demand was going to be. And so buying prime real estate just wasn't in the cards for the first one.
Right.
We've proven the concept and proven the demand and the market and the financials that now justify going into town, into higher priced real estate. So smaller tracks that are more in town, or the larger track that also support income producing aspects.
When you first started building, how much space did you start out with, or did you sell them as they became available? Like, how did you start scaling that to begin with?
The scale was a big question. So we bought 10 acres, got 10 acres originally, actually on a golf course, And the theory was that everyone in this town at some point in the year is going to go to the golf course. And so they'll pass by and see it. And they may also golf, and then they may actually be golfers. So it may have that added benefit also. But we decided we were going to phase construction so that we didn't come online with 100 garages all at one time. But we wanted to have enough garages that it made sense. So we started with 49 garages, 2 buildings. And that included our clubhouse, and started selling them. In fact, the very first garage that we sold, it was actually with the lot was wooded, and so we met in the parking lot of the golf course. And the gentleman wrote me a deposit check and said, "You're not just going to run off with my money, are you?"
Oh my gosh.
He's looking at a bunch of trees over there, right?
That's
Like,
funny.
that's the woods.
Oh my gosh. That's wild.
And so we got to about 70 or 80% sold out, started planning for the next building, built the next building, got to where it was sold out, and then now we're going to the back building actually on the golf course. So those units will have mezzanines, balconies overlooking the golf course. It's the only one in the country like that. Yeah, you can be sipping a drink on your balcony overlooking a golf course in the evening with your cars inside.
That's a totally different, I feel like that's a different clientele right there in that one than just a total car person.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's interesting. Okay. Did your law background help as you guys were going through this? Did you run into any like zoning issues or anything like that?
So I would say yes and no. The good and the bad of being a lawyer is that sometimes all we see is risk.
Right.
And so,
Right.
and so this is a little bit of a crazy idea. It's got some risk.
Yeah, there is.
And so most lawyers, and I would say most normal people would say that's too much risk. I think I'll pass. Also, on the flip side, I know how to manage risk fairly well. And so I was comfortable that if I could identify and quantify the risk, then I could decide if I wanted to proceed or not proceed. But going through the process, I hadn't developed any real estate before. I didn't know any of these things. And so every problem that came up, I used my law background to, okay, I can overcome that.
Right.
And there were a lot of them. But every one I figured, okay, well, there's a solution here. And we'd work through and we'd find a solution. And you get through enough problems, and that might have been why I overcame the next one, because it's like, well, I just overcame the last 15. Surely I can overcome this one.
We can't stop now. Like you're in it pretty deep at that point
Yeah,
too.
you get a little pot committed, don't you?
That's neat. Does your dad have a background? Like he's a partner with you on this, correct? Or at least a...
So he was my very first phone call, and believed in me and believed in the project, and yes, helped fund it. I could have never gotten started without him. So he was in the furniture business in Arizona, and he had grown a very little retail furniture store, into he became the largest independent retailer in Phoenix. But one of the things that he taught me was that he sold furniture so that he could pay rent in the buildings. He was really in the real estate business.
Oh.
And so that was a little bit of the start of the passion for real estate.
That's interesting.
It is interesting. It's a good way
So
to
he
look at
literally was selling the furniture so he could start buying properties and owning the buildings.
Owning the buildings and then selling furniture to
never
pay himself
thought of it.
rent.
No.
And over enough period of time, the rents went up, the property values went up, and it worked out.
it. Wow.
I just feel like I had a...
It's a revelation. Yeah, absolutely.
So is that something that you want to do with this? Like, do you want to sell that, like the same model that he had, and go into something new? Or is this like your passion project where you want to keep it?
I love this. I can't imagine at this point doing anything else. As long as I can do this, I will do this. It's not even really about the real estate. It's about building communities, and you bring people in and bring them together. And we try to foster that and curate the community.
I was going to say, I'm guessing there's a screening process then, right? And
I mean, a bit of a screening process. We want to make sure that people are going to enjoy being here, and that the restaurant owners are going to enjoy having the new people here. But we've been so fortunate. It's like I said, it's all different people that otherwise would have never come together are now here and friends. And at first we start with really hosted events and bringing them together intentionally. And then we'll hear that this group went out to dinner all on their own. And,
Cool.
That's
Yeah.
and we hear about it after the fact.
Yeah.
And I mean, truly,
Yeah.
it's amazing.
And that's something that you were asking about was the car. We were talking about cars and coffee and what
Yeah.
you bring here. Do you guys shoot for X amount of events per month, or do you just or year? Or?
Yeah, like hosting events.
We have quite a few events, usually at least monthly. We're outside of Houston, and so the summers get pretty hot.
Yeah.
Fair.
July and August, we don't do a whole lot of events because nobody really wants to be outside in Houston in July and August. But we do a really fun, in June, we do what we call summer nights. And so on Friday nights, we'll just have an open car show, and a ton of people will come out, and then they'll head out off and do the things. We do cars and coffee. We do other Saturday mornings. We host car clubs. We had all of the Corvette clubs in the Houston area come together here, and over 400 Corvettes, which was amazing because I can say this, I was the president of a Corvette club once, but they're like rivals, so they don't really come together that often.
Funny. Yeah.
So to get all of the Corvette clubs here was really, really special. It was something that we had dreamed about for a long
That's
time.
cool.
Neutral territory, like
That's right.
Switzerland.
That's right. Yes. We're the Switzerland for the Corvettes.
Everyone needs a neutral territory. I think we should back up a little bit and just describe the facility. So you've got two different unit sizes that we've seen so far, right? So the basic is a 1,220 square foot.
We've got 1,125,
Okay.
which is 25 feet wide, 45 foot deep.
Yeah.
That's a kind of a single unit.
Yeah.
That's our base unit size.
Yeah.
Some people will buy multiples of that, so you can have a double or a triple. And then we also have a second building that's 60 foot deep. And so some of those units are 25 feet wide, 60 foot deep. And then we have a couple that are half that. So 30 foot deep, 25 foot wide.
Okay. And then a person who wants to move in here, what do they get? Is it just, it's basically just an open space, right? And you can kind of do what you want.
It's a shell, and you can, that's exactly right. You can do what you want.
But each unit has AC, each unit has water coming in.
There's a water connection, HVAC. You can tie into the sewer line.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, it's fully usable as it is, but a lot of people will do the floors, the mezzanines, the build
That's
out.
part of the process,
Yeah.
right? It's a blank slate for you to the person to and some of these units we've seen are really unique.
Yes.
Each one is unique
Yeah.
from the other one, and it's very much a representation of the personality who's
Right. They're all purchased, right? Like they all have to be bought, not
Correct.
rented. Okay.
Correct.
Okay. When, say, somewhere like this unit that we're sitting in, which is really decorated and really well done, say this guy decided he wanted to sell it, do you guys have a process that the buyer has to go through? Does they have to list through you, or do they just get to list on Zillow or something like that?
How do you
Like,
buy this?
They're welcome to list with whoever they want. What often happens is they put the word out, and their garage neighbor ends up acquiring the unit.
Just takes over.
Or a friend also wants a unit, and so they can work it out themselves. We're
I
fine
see.
with that. If they do want to go to the open market, they're welcome to find a realtor. Most of the garage calls are coming to us, so we also have a broker that we work with that he can list it,
that's cool.
That's cool.
but it's not required.
So this might be a dumb question. I'm a renter, so I've never purchased a house. Can you get a mortgage first? Like, how do you buy this?
You can get a mortgage. We found kind of industry wide about 90% are cash buyers, 10% will finance.
Wow.
But the financing, it's a commercial mortgage, so it's not like when you go get a home loan. It's a different process. This is commercial property, a commercial loan, different kinds of terms.
Okay.
It can be a 5-year balloon. It can be a 15-year note. There's still options.
Okay.
I see.
Okay.
Do you have one of these yourself? Do you have a unit?
So it's funny. At one time, I had 49 units. And
Right?
I had, I said, I have a car here and a car in the next one, and I was all spread out. And as we started selling them, I had to condense. And one day I said, wait a second, if we sell another one, I'm not going to have a place for any of my stuff. That was the whole point of this.
You're back to having no space.
Yes. So I have sold them so that I've evicted myself, but looking forward to having the next one before we're done with this.
That's a good and bad problem to have.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
A good and bad problem to have.
That's funny. Now you have a Corvette yourself, correct?
I do. I've got a C1. It's a Restomod though.
All right.
That's cool.
All right.
I have to ask, I mentioned this to him. I saw something on your guys' website. Your dad likes modern, like, hyper supercars, and you're the older car guy?
Yes, this is true. This is
That's
true.
surprising to me.
So my dad actually wasn't really into cars as I was growing up. I got into cars through my uncle, and he used to race at a dirt track up in the Dallas-Fort Worth area.
Okay.
And I'd occasionally get to go visit, and I mean, that was the best. He was on the track, and I knew him. He was family. I got to go home with him, and it was really exciting. So that started my passion for cars. And he would teach me things here and there. When I was 16, my dad said he would sell me his, he had I think it was a 96 Ford Explorer, and he would sell it to me for half of the Blue Book value. And so that was the plan, and I saved up money, and a month before I turned 16, I can't remember if it was the classifieds or maybe I bought a Auto Trader magazine, but I brought home a classified ad and said, Dad, this is what I want to buy. It was a 1966 Mustang. This was around 98, so it was a classic car even then. And he said, son, that's the worst decision you could ever make. How are you going to keep that on the road? What's going to happen when it won't start in the morning? And I was stubborn. I wanted it. And I said, I'll figure it out. I'll keep it running. And so he said, okay, I'll let you make your mistake. And I bought the Mustang. But then it was on me. I had to keep it running. And it was Arizona and the Arizona heat. And so I was constantly replacing the radiator with bigger and bigger radiators and bigger fans.
Yeah.
That's awesome. That's better than the Explorer. I think you made the right
I
decision.
agree.
I feel like it's a
Sure.
great decision.
Yeah, yeah.
Good decisions were made.
How long did you have that car, and then what did you get after it?
So I got rid of that after high school.
Yeah.
And then I went off to college and had, I don't know, a normal car for a little while.
Sure.
But then I was working in college, and I was, it was actually at a furniture store. And the guys that worked in the warehouse, one of them pulled up with a trailer, and it had this classic car on it. And so I go and look, and I said, what are you doing with it? Are you going to restore this? And he said, no, I drive in the demolition derby. Oh, no. And I said, no way. And I said, I want to do that. And then he said, okay. And so I started driving in demolition derbies. And
Super.
yes,
That's very random.
it was the best. It was really a lot of fun.
I feel like if we saw a timeline of how you got to sit, like we're sitting in this garage right now, there's a lot of offshoots going on here.
But it all kind of comes together and to where we're sitting right now.
That's
right.
very cool.
Do you remember what that car was?
I had lots of derby cars.
Okay.
You wreck them, but
Right.
the best was, so I set a price limit of $300, which
Yeah.
I don't think you can buy even a derby car for $300 now. But that's what it was then, and I would drive around farmland trying to find old cars that somebody had decided they weren't really going to restore.
Yeah.
And I'd go offer money for it.
Yeah.
And but the best is if you could find a Chrysler, because they had the leaf springs in the back. So that was the big problem. If the back would drag, you couldn't go anywhere. You were stuck. But the leaf springs would keep it up.
They support the back of the frame, right?
Yes, I was able to. Actually, I paid $325 for a Chrysler station wagon, and it was a beast.
I had a colleague who told me that there was a certain car, it was a Chrysler New Yorker or something, that was not allowed to be in demolition derbies
right.
because those cars were like so big and so so much curb weight that they would be basically a wrecking ball.
That's right.
In the
That's interesting.
demolition derby ring, and so that is actually true, huh?
It's true. It's true.
I think I can see now, and at the beginning you said your dad, when you called him with the idea, and he was like, you haven't had a lot of ideas, but this is a good one. I can see that, like, it's making full circle here. But kind of, sorry, go back to the business real quick. I know you said, like, you're talking about scaling and looking at, like, different places and stuff like that. Is this ever something that you see the idea of it becoming, like, a franchised situation, or do you want to keep control over it for now?
From the beginning, I've wanted to build it using kind of a franchise model to put the systems in place and to build the brand so that if we ever wanted to franchise it, we have that option. At this point, I don't have any plans to franchise it. I'm not totally opposed to it, but I also like keeping options open. And I also think it's a good way to build a business.
Yeah. Building it as a franchise.
Building it as a franchise model so that we've got the brand and we've got the system so that we can take it and replicate it somewhere else. And if we want to make a change, we're making a change to the system instead of to an individual project.
So listening to you talk here, and I may be interpreting this wrong, but it seems like something that started as a business idea, but it's turned very passion project. Is there any truth to that? Or you seem so excited when you're talking about it. So
it's absolutely turned into a passion. I love this place. I love the people here. Yeah, it's what I love to do.
Interesting. Not just a business now, not just the real estate side of it and all that.
In fact, it's almost turned away from the real estate side where it started as some sort of a real estate interest. The real estate is almost tangential to what we're doing.
I see. How do you keep, because you guys maintain everything outside of the walls, correct? How do you guys continue to fund that side? Is there fees for owners, or what does that look like?
It's similar to an HOA. It's a POA, a Property Owners Association.
Okay.
And so we have dues that when the first purchase is made, there's a fee that goes to the association to build the reserve account, and then there's an annual fee that gets assessed to the owners.
Cool. And so that's all property upkeep, or is that what that goes to, or does it have other
It's basically
things?
Property upkeep and insurance.
I see. Okay.
Yeah. So the POA insures the structure itself, and then each owner insures the contents and liability. Okay.
Is that hard to get insurance for something like this?
No, but we've had to kind of systematize the process and vet insurers to make sure that they know what they're insuring so that if there's ever a claim, there's not a problem that, we didn't know this is what it was. So we've talked to lots of insurers and made sure they're really comfortable with it and familiar with it. But at this point, it has become more popular. A lot of insurers are familiar with the concept, and so it's relatively simple to insure.
I see.
You're talking about moving into properties closer to or within Houston itself. What are some of those challenges? Are you looking at existing buildings and renovating them to fit a space like this, or looking at like an empty land or something with an abandoned building on it that you'd have to tear down and build up from the ground up?
I've looked at both. It actually depends a lot on the market, the very, very current market. So today in Houston, the townhouse market is a little depressed. And so vacant land that wouldn't have been an option for us before, now some people are looking for buyers. And so we can buy that land. At other times, big box retailers were going out of business, and that was a great option to convert a big box retail.
I can see that.
Makes sense.
What's the zoning required to put up a building like this?
Light industrial, typically.
So that's not something crazy that you have to basically create a niche for.
It's not too crazy, but finding the right land, because industrial warehouse areas aren't necessarily where you want to be. And so finding the right land that's zoned correctly can be a challenge.
Yeah.
Do you allow businesses to be ran out of here, or is it private garage space?
So we have people that own a business and they may work out of here, but it's not retail. You can't have customers stop and buy, that sort of thing.
Because you want to keep it, I assume, somewhat secure so people trust it and you don't have somebody random walking in. And
right.
That makes sense.
Right. But we have a lot of owners who own a business, and there's some business function, and it can also be a tax write-off, and there's some advantages there. So there's business uses, but it's not a retail spot.
Got it. And then we also heard that one of your ideas for expansion is the car keep, you call it?
Yes.
Do you want to describe that?
So the car keep is individual car storage, but it's really a concierge service. Okay. So you can take your car, leave it with us, and we'll keep it on a tender. We can take it and get it detailed. We can take it and get it inspected, so that, what we've seen is now that we house all of these cars and have gotten to know their owners, that people like to enjoy their cars, and everyone has a different definition of what that means.
Yeah.
some people love to detail their cars. That's what they do.
Yeah. Yeah.
Some people love to do the work on them.
Yeah.
Some people just want to drive and they want it ready to go.
Yeah.
For the people that just want it ready to go, we maintain it, we keep it, and when you want it, it's ready to go.
That seems like a really good idea, but that's interesting. So even though the spaces may be sold and this land, like it could look like not, this isn't a good term, but the end of this property, there's still a lot more ideas like what you're coming up with, like with that. I see.
And the community has really led to that. So one of the things that we found, it doesn't matter what size garage you bought, it gets filled.
Sure. Absolutely.
Facts.
Yep.
Yes. And so when it's filled, we might put in additional lifts, we might buy an additional garage, but at some point they might say, I'm out of space. I want another car. What can I do? Well, we have this other concept of what you can do. So that's
rather than having to buy a whole nother garage that may not be available for one car. You've got the.
And as we've gotten to be sold out, there's zero chance that the garage next to you is available because there aren't any garages available currently. You might be able to convince your neighbor, but you might not.
I see.
Yeah.
Do you have a wait list? Because you do. Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
This new building that is under construction. In fact, we just went vertical in the last couple of weeks and we're 40% sold out.
No kidding. And how many units are going to be in that?
It'll be 14.
Wow.
Team.
Wow.
And that's the ones that you say face the golf course.
On the golf course,
Okay.
yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Is that ever, and I know I asked this earlier, but I wanted to touch on this a little more. I believe, and correct me if I'm wrong, M1, are you familiar with the M1 concourse?
Yes.
Okay, I assume so. But they built their units around a track that they built, correct?
Yes.
That, I know you said that you would love if a track was here, but that's not something that you want to dive into. You want to keep it more storage. Is that what you were saying?
I mean, I would never call it storage. It's
Sorry, that's a terrible term, right? Like, but I mean, like, not like an activity-based center, like as far as like a track or something like that.
I've had discussions with tracks, so it's a possibility.
I see.
But I would probably partner with someone that does tracks. I don't know tracks. That's not my expertise.
Yours is creating a community around.
That's right.
That makes sense.
That's right.
That's interesting. And see, that's something that I think we talked about coming into, because I would not have thought of this model.
Right.
But when you have it here, it's like, well, duh, that makes sense. I get that. But that's cool. So that's where the events become important. And
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Because you don't want that label of storage.
Right.
You want it to be a community space.
It's more active than storage. It's a community space. People are here hanging out, bringing their cars, talking. Yeah, we like to bring people together.
We saw quite a few guys walking up and down earlier, talking with them, and they're happy to show their collections.
Very happy. Yes.
Happy to show their garages, and that was cool.
That's every day here. It's so incredible. Somebody's getting a new car and there'll be 3 or 4 people around and they'll come and check it out. And then, as we're standing around talking, somebody else shows up with something and it's, that's my day. It's amazing.
I love the excitement.
Yeah.
It just makes me excited. That's very cool. It's very cool. Are you here 5 days a week with that, or?
Sometimes I'm here 7 days a week. So I'm here all kinds of hours. Sometimes I have to practice law still. But
See, I didn't even think about that.
I know. I was like, I have to go to work now.
I know. That's right.
Some work I could imagine you could do from here too. Just some of your, So that makes sense.
I do as much as I can, and I love it so much. When we were getting ready to pour the concrete on the next building, I decided to just stay the night out here, and so I slept out here all night. So I was here at 4 a.m. when they started the pour. I love it out here.
Yeah.
My kids will come out here and find the toads, and we love spending time out here.
So I was wondering, does your family's involved then out
Very
here
much.
coming out? And
Yes.
That's cool. Having a space for them too, and
and the kids love it. My wife has been so supportive. It's a real estate development, and so there's lots and lots of ups and downs, and lots of my time away and being down here and breathing life into this new project. Took from the family sometimes. Fortunately, you can give back to the family too sometimes.
Yeah.
But my wife has been a huge part of it, but also very patient.
Does Does she have anything in like background wise, like with automotive or anything real estate wise, or is this a totally different world for her?
She's got some marketing background
Okay,
and
that's
has helped a
cool.
lot with that. And
Yeah.
she's great at design. So she actually did the interior of the clubhouse, and which gets complimented all the time. And
Yeah,
I say, well, who
We
did
were
all
standing
this?
up there oogling about it a
Yeah,
little bit
it's a
ago.
cool
So.
Oh, well, thank you.
Yeah.
That was my wife.
Well, she did very good. I was
Yeah.
like, I asked them, I was like, can I take pictures of these lights? Because these are very cool. Like, knock yourself
I'll tell
out.
you a funny story about those lights. So she had picked out those lights, and then we looked to get them, and it was, I don't know, $7,500. And I said, that's conduit and junction boxes. That's not complicated. I'm going to build it. So I actually built it on our garage floor. And that's how that light fixture came to be.
It's so cool. I was just like, that was the one that stopped me. I'm like, huh. So she's in, when you say design, you mean like interior type design, not graphic design? Or
Interior design, yeah.
Okay.
And not really by trade or profession. She's just very, very good at it.
I would say so.
Definitely, yeah.
Her skills were showcased. That's very cool.
That's such a cool look too. I was always attracted to like loft style apartments or whatever when I first moved to Los Angeles. And for like 5 seconds, I entertained the notion of living in a place like that until I saw the prices. But you know, that's such a cool environment. And then to combine that with, you know, being able to just like hang out in your mezzanine and then look down at your car is like,
Yes.
I can see why you've got a wait list.
It's really a lot of fun.
Yeah.
That's rad.
If you had to advertise or attract new customers, which it doesn't sound like you do, but are there real estate agents or is there like someone who specializes in real estate or property tailored towards car enthusiasts?
There's starting to be.
Okay.
There are a few realtors that tend to specialize in that, either in the garage space, office condo market, or tailored towards automotive specifically. And there's housing developments now that will have a 2,500 square foot house with a 4,000 square foot garage. And so there are realtors that specialize in that sort of thing. We find that a lot of realtors that just focus on houses, when people are, well, it could be upsizing or downsizing, but they're downsizing on their garage space and they say, I have to have a 3-car garage or a 4-car garage. That really limits your market. If they can say, no, you can do a 2-car garage and we can get you a garage at Garage Ultimate, that opens up the whole market for their homes, and then they can also be here.
So proximity, are the neighborhoods around here relatively close? You know, just being from out of town, I don't know, but you've got a residential area that supports.
We do. So that's really interesting. So like self-storage or mini storage, it tends to attract from a 3 to 5 mile radius at most. And so we looked at, well, what radius are we attracting from? Ours is much larger. It's average like 15 mile. We have about half of our owners are within 10 miles and the other half are more than 20 miles away, which is significant. But interestingly, several of those owners that were more than 20 miles away loved the garage more than they loved their house. And so they actually moved closer to the garage.
That's cool.
That's funny.
Yeah, they said, I spend all my time at the garage. I don't want to drive so far.
But I mentioned too, like I've seen more and more places like this going up around the country. Do you think there's a saturation point where it's like Starbucks, like there's, you know, there's a car storage, there's a car condo, there's, you know, is there enough room to go around, right? There's enough need as far as you know right now, right?
Right now there definitely is.
Yeah.
There must be a saturation point, but it's new enough that we don't know what that point is. So we'll see.
And I know a lot of that would depend on the area. The urban areas like Los Angeles, all the garages are small, houses are small. So something like this in a place close to neighborhoods of Los Angeles would be very well successful. But I was kind of surprised, you know, the perception of Texas is everything's big and open and, you know, you have a giant house and a huge garage, but that's apparently not always the case, right?
Not always, not always. But
Yeah.
even down here, some people will have more land and they have the land to build an extra garage and some people do, and that's what they want. Other people come and say, but I can never replicate the community. All the people
I
are
was gonna
here.
say, going back to this, not like it's not just the storage, as you
Yes.
mentioned. That's
Yeah.
so you're buying into more than just a storage facility. You're buying into a culture.
A whole
Absolutely.
network, a whole lifestyle.
Absolutely.
That's really cool.
You have a lot of statistics that I hear you reference and mention. Is that something that you keep up with on the business side, or do you have somebody that manages that?
I try to stay on top of it, and then my team helps me stay on top of it. They're always looking. They're looking at the market, and it's changing so quickly. This was when we started. Nobody was doing this. Now a lot of people are doing this. I get a call almost weekly, like, "Hey, I'm really thinking about doing this somewhere. What do you think?"
Oh, really? So is that to look at for growth going forward, that you're mainly watching that, like as you look at expanding, or is that just to make sure that you're continuing to serve this space?
Both.
Both.
It's,
Okay.
I mean, this is what I do, so I want to stay on top of
Yeah.
it. But also, we've come to be kind of the experts in it because we were kind of pioneers in it,
Yeah.
and so as we continue to expand, as we keep our franchise options open, our expansion options open, staying on top of the market, both locally and then statewide and then nationally is important.
So you guys do have a social presence. What role do you see for that for you guys? Because when you stay, if I know you have spaces available currently, but when you stay sold out, is that to kind of work on the community that you have here and make announcements for those your members, or what does that look like for your business?
It's both. We need to manage the internal community, the people that are here, and communicate and plan events specifically for them. But also, we want to involve the outside community. We want this to be a place that's known where, they invite everybody that loves cars. That's what they're about.
That's cool.
And so it's a little bit of both.
I see. Do the guys that have store or like shop spaces here, do they like when those events happen so they can show off their stuff? Like, I can imagine, like, if you have a place like this, you'd want to
They
show
love it.
people.
Yeah.
They love it.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's part of the fun of it too. Even just internally, there's a little bit of competition, not only between the
imagine.
cars, but the build outs too.
Because it's not just like if you're coming to something like this, well, if you have a space here, but if you're coming to an event here, it's not like you're just hopping looking from car to car, which can be cool. It's like you're getting a whole nother show involved
I can
with
totally
it.
picture that, where like there's a bunch of cool cars parked right outside the garage door, but then all the doors open,
Oh,
you
yeah.
get to see inside that. I mean,
You gotta have some epic pictures
oh
going on.
gosh,
here.
yeah.
Yeah, not just the cars, but the garage space too.
Yeah. That's awesome.
We were commenting. I was kind of lamenting that our company didn't adopt a work environment like this, because we could have had such a cool space with all our project cars and stuff in it.
We can help you out.
Instead of, I know, maybe we'll even relocate the business.
Yeah,
to it.
relocate here. you know a guy.
Yeah. That'd be pretty cool.
Know a space. Got sidetracked when you said you had a space. You sold your space out. Do you have one, or is it now going to be in the new expansion that you have?
It's now going to be in the new expansion. We kept selling the spaces, and then I said, okay, this one's going to be mine. I'm not getting rid of it. And then somebody says, I can't wait. I really want to be here. I'm like, okay.
So is that going to happen with the new space?
No.
Okay.
No.
Sign a contract with yourself.
Yes.
Like, make that one.
Right. Well, it also sounds like that you say people run out of space in their shops, but like you could potentially run out of space here on this property.
We are going to. It's,
Right.
yes.
Is this last row that you're adding, because that's backed up to the golf course, is
Right.
that the last row, or can you go other directions?
So the last row on the golf course is the last row, but we actually skipped a row. So there's a row in between, kind of infill row that we can also do. So that'll be the very last building after the one on the golf course.
What was the reason for doing it in that order?
To differentiate,
I
and
see.
we had brought 3 buildings online, sold them out, and now to go on the golf course, and I mean those are obviously the premium units,
Yeah.
balconies overlooking the golf course. One of our original pitches to the early buyers was, you're going to have instant equity because we're going to keep raising prices, we're going to keep pushing the envelope, and they trusted us, and we've done that. And so everybody that's bought has made money, has equity in what they purchased. And doing building 5 now on the golf course, those are the premium units, the highest price point. And so that helps everybody. And then we can come back to the infill building, and it won't be at the golf course price point, but it'll still be higher than before.
I see. That's cool. So that way you're repaying those that came in
Yes.
early.
Yeah.
having people that trust you with that, like,
Sure.
I mean, you said the guy asked if you're going to run away with his money in the woods, but like that's a testament, I think, to like your character and being able to sell that, because that's it's like, is it going to happen? I don't know. That's a lot to build out. So
I hope it's a testament to my character. I think it's a testament to the trust of the owners as well.
Yeah, 100%.
But it meant a lot to me to deliver on those promises and to not make them wait too long. So what we do see happening some is somebody will think it's a good idea. They'll say, well, I'll announce it, I'll market it, and if we can sell enough of them, then sure, it makes sense to build it. I don't like doing things that way, because if it takes longer, you've got these people that you promised something at the beginning, then now 2 years later, you haven't built anything, and you're still saying, well, if we sell another 4, we will. And so we didn't want to do that. When I told people we were going to start at a certain time, within my power, I wanted to start at that time.
how long did your first investor have to wait before he had a space?
He waited, I would say, probably 8 months.
That's quick.
Wow, that's
That's
very
quick.
quick. Yeah.
Yeah, it was pretty quick.
So you went from the woods to
The woods to,
a building.
I think we were under construction for 8 months, so it must have been closer to a year.
Well,
Because
Still.
Still, that's
cleared,
fast.
but still, it was
Quick,
Yeah.
We wanted to. In fact, after we took that first deposit, was pretty much okay. Now we need to clear. We need to show just that one person that they trusted
go.
us. We're doing this.
Yeah.
And so we cleared, and that's kind of how it got started.
Okay.
Now, you said that like there are real estate agents that if you were going to sell, maybe that there's people that's starting to get into that. But looking at design wise and stuff, do you guys have contractors that you recommend
that's a
for
good
like
question.
building out
Yeah,
spaces,
that's a good
or
question.
like who do people go to?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that was another thing that we left. You can use any contractor you want, and there were people experimented a little bit, and then we had a contractor buy a garage here, and
It's a good business.
Yeah, that was
it
smart.
turned out to be a brilliant business plan.
Yeah.
So he bought a garage here. He's a great guy, and he started building out people's mezzanines. So the first few mezzanines were made of steel, and then he started doing some of wood, and they were beautiful.
I saw that. That's
Yes.
what one down there did.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
they're gorgeous. And so everybody said, well, that's what I want. And then he said, well, we can do this bathroom. And he's great at showing people what he can do. Now he's got probably 15 units that he can actually show them what he's done.
That's cool.
But he's built out most of the garages in the last several years.
Because I can imagine like you're gonna be like, well, that guy knows what he's doing, not having to explain it, and that's cool. It's like having an active lookbook where you can walk around and.
Yes.
I want that. You said they have the option to tap into sewer. Do you guys have a provision for that ahead of time, or do they have to cut into slab, or?
So we've done both.
Okay.
We've done some where you have to cut into the slab and then dig to get to an actual tap, and we've done some where we stubbed it out at the beginning. The challenge is if you stub it out at the beginning and somebody doesn't want a restroom, or then you've got a stubbed out pipe.
Things sticking up.
But if you don't and someone does want a restroom, sawing concrete and digging is.
I can see both ways there being a
Yes.
situation. I see. Well, very cool. This whole place is just rad.
Oh, I know. We've been having a great time here.
Oh, I'm so glad. I'm so glad. That's what it's about. It's hard to really, people step onto the property and if they get it, they get it. They're like, this is awesome.
The community around here too, on the way in, I noticed was kind of automotive businesses, like a transmission shop, a machine shop, and stuff like that. Has the community responded, or the city responded positively to your business being here, and has it brought like revenue to some of the surrounding areas?
Very much so.
Okay.
So early on, it was the same thing. We talked to the city and we promised that we were going to bring an amenity to the city. And I don't know if...
Was that a hard sell, by the way? Was that something like you had to really talk up to make that happen?
So I was talking to the Economic Development Committee, and it didn't seem like it was a hard sell, but their job is to make it seem that they're supportive. So they may have been selling me a bit too. Some of the city has told me since then that they heard, some of the actual city staff has said that, they heard what I was doing and they said, that's really crazy, but we hope it works.
Yes.
Okay, that's interesting.
But now It really, truly is an amenity. We've had multiple people, as I said, that lived 30 miles away, not in this city, move into town, shop here, eat here, spend their money here. And so now the city loves it.
And you're bringing, for events and stuff, you're bringing in people from surrounding area, I assume, that come out. And, it's cool.
We've got a good relationship with the city.
I feel like that's very important for something like this. You were talking about earlier, like even saying California, like just having a car culture there, even though there's so much history there, it can be challenging just with regulations and stuff. So having a relationship, I can imagine, makes all the difference.
Yes.
So
and we try to involve the city in as much as we can. We have the mayor out to our events regularly. We have the police department at any of our public events. The police are here and we hire them, and so it's been a really great relationship.
That's awesome. Have you, I'm sure the answer is yes here, but have you personally made a lot of friends out of like this?
Oh, that's great.
Absolutely. Some of my best friends are here.
Coming from like law, I assume lawyers are probably
You can't have lawyer friends.
You can have lawyer friends too, but I would assume that's a different. I actually have a friend. Her dad came to my wedding. And he's like, car people are awesome. And he's like, where have I been? I've been hanging out with my lawyer friends. But I assume to an extent it's a different group, right? Or do you have crossover from lawyer friends that come over here, or you keep your group separate?
I mean, everybody I know wants to be here.
Okay. It's just the spot to be.
It's a fun spot. It's a really fun spot. And in fact, we've got some lawyers who are here. Yeah. But I agree with your friend's father that car people are cool.
Yeah.
Just got a couple more questions before we wrap up, but what advice would you give yourself if you were to start over again? What lessons have you learned, and what would you do going forward?
There's going to be highs and there's going to be lows. Stick to it. It's worth it.
And future plans for the place? Obviously, you're going to expand. Do you have your eyes on certain properties in Houston and other areas around?
We actually have just secured a property in Houston. It's central. It's about I-10 and 610, if you know Houston, but it's in the central business district.
Yeah.
So that's going to be our next expansion. We think there's additional opportunity here, but we're also looking to other cities in Texas and then other cities outside of Texas.
Wow.
Very cool.
Wow.
Congratulations.
It'll be exciting to see
Thank you so
how you
much.
progress.
I hope we can come to LA.
Yeah. Oh,
Maybe you'll move headquarters after all.
Please let me know. That'd be wonderful. Nick Deutsch, Esquire. And owner proprietor Garage Ultimate, thank you so much for your time here on the Hot Rod Pod. And that does it for us here in Texas. Thank you so much for watching.
Thank you.